So Noah, we've got the Frenzied Tilling deck that we've got for the deck donation today. You want to tell me a little bit about this deck?
Yeah. So I last donated to you guys last month with my Jund brew. It was kind of White of the Reliquary and Nature's Rhythm, sort of a toolboxy deck. I kind of realized when in this format right now, I think when playing tempo, some of the toolboxy nature of like a Green Sun or Nature's Rhythm, it might be a little too slow for trying to actually be more aggressive with the deck. And that often I was finding like my tutor targets just weren't enough to justify the package. And also I think the mana cost of being +1 on Green Sun actually is sometimes prohibitive when you want to hit something on curve. So like, Green Sunning for a Grist versus just casting a Grist is a different amount of mana, especially through days and things. I also saw the printings. I was inspired by the printing of Frenzied Baloth, which I know you guys have commented on a few times in your podcast, which is the green 2-drop that is a 3/2 with haste and trample and makes it so your creatures can't be countered, it can't be countered, and damage can't be prevented. That one I'm really excited to see how that plays out with more reps in Legacy for a couple reasons. One, it prevents Force of Will and Daze from being a problem in the tempo matchup, which I find these green decks can suffer a little. I just actually suffered a loss to Corey Stillcutter in a league, and I was like, man, this should be a really good matchup. But when they out-tempo you, when they outflank you with Wastelands and just that little bit of damage, your deck can just sort of flounder and then you just lose. So my hope is that card's a good answer to that. I also noticed people haven't really talked much about the haste part of Frenzied Baloth, but to me, that's a pretty big part of how you could also address Tamiyo to a bigger degree.
Yeah, you can definitely attack down Tamiyo with this guy.
Yep. So the ability to be like, here's a Tamiyo. Obviously, they can plus the Tamiyo, then you only have a 2/2 Baloth. But with things like Ignoble, you can pump it back up, and Scythecat Cub and stuff. So it's pretty easy to keep a Tamiyo at bay, which is often, again, one of the things those more demure tempo decks are trying to do against us is like, just kill everything we play, stick a Tamiyo, ultimate a Tamiyo, and win. So that's and obviously the other role of the card is through, attacks through the One Ring. I've had multiple games where I've cut the One Ring player off from a turn they thought they had.
Yeah. The damage can't be prevented is a real surprise to people who are not ready for it.
Right. And they might be like, I'm setting up for a turn where I'm going to One Ring into another One Ring, or I'm going to One Ring into like combo kill or something. And then you just cut them out from the knees. You either put them to 0, or sometimes they've even had it where I put them to 2 or 3 and they have 2 Ancient Tombs in play. They just can't cast anything. So
then they take damage from their One Ring on the next turn.
Yeah, and they take damage on their upkeep. It all adds up pretty fast. And then, so the other idea behind Frenzied Baloth, again, the other key, in my opinion, really key text on that card is creature spells you control can't be countered. Not just that it can't be countered, but every creature subsequently can. That's why I'm running cards like I'm trying to max out on cards that do things more like on the stack, like at instant speed. So there is a weird sort of tension in this deck where you want to play things proactively, but there are certain matchups where you're going to want to hold mana up because you actually have the hard castable, the Orcish Bowmaster mana, or the sort of one of the flex slots of the deck that I'm testing out is the 2 Oppo agents in the main. Like being able to just Oppo agent your opponent without them being able to counter it against an Entomb is pretty good. It's pretty great. So, and then Endurance is like the really big one. Endurance is like free endurances that can't be countered from, a Reanimator player or a graveyard dependent player is pretty great. I'm still in the Nantukos. That's also another kind of a pet card of mine. I have noticed certain times when I don't love the card, but I do think it is one of those ways you can win the grindy matchup, or just matchups where you need a lot of bodies to chump, or, that kind of thing.
Yeah. The games that I won with your previous list were off the back of the Nantuko, like copying Scythecat Cub, or so many things that you can do with that.
They let you kind of go over the top of decks that otherwise would be able to go over the top of you. I did have one game loss. It was a match win, but a game loss against the traveling Chocobo Nadu brew that people have been trying with the weird bird, the 1-mana bird.
Okay.
I'm forgetting the name of it. But anyway, they were able to do the traveling Chocobo Nadu thing or Scythe Cat Cub thing. And then you get like double triggers from Scythe Cat twice. And they had like a 36/36 Scythe Cat
Yeah,
Cub.
it's like an 8x. It's like to the power of 2
within like a turn.
3 to the power of 2 or something. Yeah,
I was like, doesn't matter if I have a Barrogoyf in play right now. I'm getting trampled to death. So I guess that's whatever,
Good God.
I kind of changed my play pattern. So that's the other note about the deck is there's one big change I made from my previous list. And this is conscious, and I think it's the right thing to do. I'm hoping it's the right thing to do. I don't think Thoughtseize is great in decks like this. And I know that's kind of a controversial thing to say.
No, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Thoughtseize has been hit or miss. There are times when it's brilliant. You look like a freaking mastermind. You just take the one thing from the show and tell player and they never recover or whatever. But as often as that happens, you Thoughtseize away an important threat from a deck that's, totally full of great threats. And you can't Thoughtseize the top of someone's deck and they just win anyway.
I think also a deck like this with Thoughtseize, like you don't have an I win combo. You're not proactively Thoughtseizing, you're defensively Thoughtseizing. And I feel like that's not where you want to be in Legacy right now. You want to be Thoughtseizing, seeing that the coast is clear, and then doing the thing that ends the game.
Exactly. And so I've opted for a different idea, and which is Chalice of the Void. Chalice is in here with just 2 Ancient Tombs, which is kind of weird. Because if I go up to 4 Ancient Tombs, I think the mana base is going to suck. Like, it's not going to work. I'm also on the notable, so the mana base is actually something I'm curious to see with more reps, what exactly is the right secret sauce, because not Frenzied Baloth, Ice Till Explorer is another big part of some of the broken openers this deck can get. Openers with ignoble or birds, and then you off like a fetch land or a dual land, and then you get like the Ancient Tomb turn 2 into the Ice Till Explorer rather, and then you immediately play your fetch land from your yard again. Or better yet, you have a wasteland in your hand.
Good God, a wasteland is like game over if you start getting to wasteland twice a turn.
Right. And I've had that exact opener a few times, and it's been like very nice. The issue is you can't go all in on either wasteland or Ancient Tombs. So you notice I'm on 3 wastelands, not 4, and I'm on 2 Ancient Tombs, not 4 or 3. Because you kind of need your green pips for things like Frenzied Baloth. So I'm almost of the camp that this deck could afford to maybe even test a second Yavimaya. So you can have those openers where you do like Yavimaya, Ancient Tomb, and you still have your access to your double green, but you still have your access to your double colorless from the Ancient Tomb. Right now I'm sticking with 1 because it is a legendary land, and I want my lands to be really useful all the time.
Yeah,
makes sense. I could easily see the deck going to 2 copies of that card. Gaea's Cradle is another one I could see going to 2 copies of, since we don't have a way to tutor it. We're not really heavy in on the Gaea's Cradle plan. Like it's nice to have, but the deck, other than a few key bigger top end things, the deck tries to operate, within the 1 to 3 range.
I was gonna say, is there like a mana payoff in here for a Gaea's Cradle? It doesn't look like there is.
Mostly the mana payoff is like your Ice Till. Yeah. And then the consistency with like the Springheart and Untucko cloning. It gets really helpful to have 1. Okay. So I think it's fine to run 1 because I don't think it's relatively free.
Yeah.
To run 1. But it's not that. In fact, I'd say a more utility land in the yard is the Nurturing Peatland. Like that's milling over that card is much more useful because then you can do the Ice Till thing that way. And I've actually had that come up where I was able to draw like 2 or 3 cards in a turn and start churning through my deck a little faster. The mill on the Ice Till Explorer is also notable because you can kind of find some of these utility lands a little faster just by fetching for regular lands. So yeah, that's the main crux of the main deck. I'm on 2 Grists. Again, one of the reasons just so the viewers understand, the reason I'm trying no Green Sun is a lot of my best threats are 3 and 4 ofs. I have some utility 2 ofs, but like I want to be seeing my threats more just naturally, and I also want to maximize Frenzied Baloth. And notably, Frenzied Baloth cannot protect a Green Sun Zenith from counter magic.
Sure, that makes sense.
And then the issue becomes, and I've had this issue with Cavernous Souls decks in Vintage and Legacy of the past, is you run a few key threats in your deck that can't be countered, and your opponent's Force of Wills that they may be kept in or maybe didn't against you, they all become live on the one thing that you present.
Yeah, you're not overloading it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, all their Force of Wills are now like, oh, I need a target. And if you play Green Sun, you give them that target. So that's an additional reason why Green Sun isn't the best in this deck. I do still love Grist. I almost think the deck could afford a third Grist, but slots are tight and trying to find, make consistency happen as well. I've been noticing a lot on, this is more of an MTGO acknowledgement. I've been noticing a lot of Eldrazi popping up again on MTGO. I don't know if you've noticed that, but
I've not, but I've seen a lot of Mystic Forge lately.
Yeah, there's a lot of Mystic Forge, but there is actually some line breaker, like Eldrazi Linebreaker, Eldrazi. So for both those matchups, I do want to try testing out Plague Engineer. I also imagine you would have strong opinions on this being a breakfast player, but I don't really think Golgari has the best tools to beat Nadu at all.
No, you have endurance to stop it for a while, but if you don't have
the breakfast side, I'm talking about like Nadu, the Nadu portion of the deck, or also the control Nadu deck that doesn't do breakfast things at all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Null Rod here is something, but honestly, it doesn't look like you have much beyond the Chalice of the Void will get you part of the way there just by stopping a core.
Yeah. That's presuming they're not Court of Calling for it.
True. I'm only thinking about breakfast itself, and I don't play anything that isn't just casting it. But to that end, the Urza Sagas will get your Shukos. So
right,
even still, you have to have kind of two answers.
Yeah. So what I was thinking about the Plague Engineer is in certain Nadu matchups, certainly like the Nadu control deck, not maybe the breakfast version. Like the Nadu control deck runs basically just Nomads on core, and I think maybe Sylvan Safekeeper, and that's about it in terms of the Nadu enabling. I don't
maybe
even
know Spring Heart or something.
Yeah, I don't even know if they do Shuko. So Plague Engineer naming core, the nice thing about that is it dies as a state-based effect. It can't
exactly. You can't even target.
Never use its ability. Yeah, and then if you have your own Spring Heart Nantukos, you can clone the Plague Engineer and name the other creature type that is going to pose problems like human or something. So
I would name core a second time if I were you.
Probably yes. Yeah.
We play Swords to Plowshare.
Don't want to get Swords to Plowshare. Yeah, exactly. So that's my best solution I could come up with in these colors. I thought about it for a long time. I was like Disruptor Flute, but I've got so many times by fluting the core, and then they tutor up either the Elvish Herder or the Sylvan Safekeeper, or in the case of Shuko, obviously they find Shuko. So it just feels like you're constantly, what's the term? It's not shell game, but you're constantly trying to figure out what the right answer is for the situation. And Nadu, in my experience, is very good at pivoting, especially the Green Sun versions. Now, the breakfast version is a little bit more like they have their combo, and if you answer the combo, the fair Naduing can get them removal, but not necessarily a quick win.
Yeah, well, so the breakfast, I just got done a league with breakfast, went 4-1. Great league for me.
Nice.
Nadu, the thing I was saying at the beginning of that episode was that Nadu has breakfast has 3 plans. And technically 4 if you really want to count it, but the 3 plans are breakfast itself, right? Either Nadu or Cephalillusionist doing its thing is enough to make most people just quit. Right?
Yep.
So doing the targeting your things a bunch of times is good enough a lot of times. Then it has just attacking with Urza Saga and your creatures, which is not the best plan, but it does get you there more often than not. And then also, since they play Tamiyo now, Tamiyo is another angle that they get to run on, and that each of those plans supplements each other plan. If you decide to go with the Urza Saga plan, right, and you have a Tamiyo out, and every time Tamiyo attacks, it's just an anthem for your tokens,
Right. Right,
So
right.
it becomes a real problem.
That's that, and for this deck, that is a problem because I'm on, the guy who makes insects, and then Grist makes insects, and then Orcish Bowmaster makes 1/1. So yeah, I have had that come up a few times where I'm like, I thought I had this Tameo locked down, and I forgot that all my creatures basically can't attack at all. So yeah, unfortunately that might just be a weakness of this way of building it, where if you don't splash for red, and red's the easiest splash because Ignoble Hierarch already pays for red costs. A splash for red would give you Harsh Mentor, and Harsh Mentor would probably be something that could actually interact with Nadu in a way that they have to remove it.
Yeah.
The only issue I have there is they can still activate the Nadu like 2, 3, 4 times, and then just find a file for the Harsh
Sometimes
Mentor.
that's enough too. Yeah.
There. Yeah. So you have to pressure their life total, which this deck does do. So there's that. And then white would be the more hard answer with a Clarion Conqueror.
Sure. Yeah.
And this deck actually could run Clarion Conqueror without too much dysynergy. You might consider cutting Grist at that point for a different removal spell. The dorks are largely not a problem. So the other thing about the deck, by the way, is people might say, oh, you're a Chalice deck. You want to name Chalice at 1. Doesn't that nuke your 7 dorks? One thing to note about it is if you play a Baloth, you can still cast your dorks post.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good call.
Post Chalice. So
not to mention, like if you're chalicing your opponent and you're losing out on dorks, but they're losing out on all the 1-drops in their deck, you're probably like after turn 3, you probably don't care too much about your dorks. They're things that you can pitch to an endurance, right?
Yeah. I think the one leap though, when you do play this in a league, is just I wouldn't always assume you need to be turboing out your Chalice turn 1, even if it might be available to you at times. Like if you're on the play against the Daze deck and you have the Ancient Tomb Chalice at 1 and you have like a Birds of Paradise, but your hand otherwise curves out fine without the Birds of Paradise, then yes, I would jam it because you're dodging the Daze. They only have Force of Will and then they're just done, right?
Sure.
But a lot
and no one's going to expect a Chalice out of this deck either, I don't think.
No. And the beauty is I actually think this is a pretty good deck to do Chalice turn 2. Like play Dork turn 1, play Chalice turn 2, and that's often good enough because then you can play through Daze more easily because you got a second land drop and a Dork. Chalice on 0 is very good in certain matchups, so you can also do the Chalice 0 thing, like against lands. I might keep the Chalices in against lands. I don't really know if it's just hitting the 4 Mox Diamonds worth it. Maybe not. Maybe Endurance is just better. Just go all in on the Endurances and try to make sure they never get to Life from the Lomu profitably. That's also, by the way, the Oppo agents are kind of a nod to, I've seen online and in my LGS, a decent amount of like lands, other weird Zenith decks. And I find that decks like this can fall prey to a better toolbox sometimes because I don't have the ability to like have the reach they have. And so the Oppo agents are kind of there to be like, we're going to fight on a level playing field here. You don't get your Green Sun Zenith. You just have to, your Knight of the Reliquaries don't even work. Your whites don't work, all that stuff. So
yeah,
it's kind of for those matchups too. The Null Rods are a very conscious choice over Collector Oof, by the way. I've been looking at MTGO data from the Karnforge deck, and they run 4K command as far as I'm aware, and some number of dismembers in their board.
Yep. Sure do. Yep.
But they only really run like one portable hole, maybe, for the Tezzeret Cruel Captain to find. So it feels like Null Rod is way harder for them to deal with than Oof.
Yeah, no, I like that. And they're going to bring in, they're already going to bring in creature hate against you, right? Like you can try and overload that, but if they're going to do their unfair thing, there's a very good chance that they're already bringing those things in, assuming that you have a Collector Ulf that they're going to need to get rid of. So a Rod just sets them way back.
And I've gone through the whole list of legacy decks that run things that are susceptible to Rod, and almost all of them are non-forceable decks. So the Rod is very uncounterable in the matchups where it matters. And so like Oof, you could argue you can make the Frenzied Baloth make it uncounterable, but it's not that relevant in those matchups. So and the last thing, obviously the Alpha Deathclaw. Still my nod.
You love this card, man.
It's still it's mostly just my nod to Show and Tell. Like you got to have something.
Okay, fair.
You got to have those to bring in against Show and Tell, that you can't just get easily got as easily. You just have them in your hand. You Show and Tell it to play, kill the thing.
That's fair.
You can bring that card in against other really grindy matchups where you have enough things to side out. if you just need a threat that's bigger than what your opponent's doing, you can go bigger than them. But it's really more of a show and tell, like, because without Thoughtseize in the deck, like, you have so much problems with show and tell. The Force of Vigors are also in there largely because even against the Grim Monolith decks, they bring in, Pithing Needles to stop your Wastelands. You do have things you need to kill. And then last but not least, we have the one flex slot in the main. I wanted the Ouroboroi at first, which is the 4-drop that pumps your team.
Mm-hmm.
It's from the new set. I've been finding it to be a little win more or not win enough. It kind of flounders between, like, you have a great board state where you didn't really need it that badly, and it just kind of ends the game a little faster, or your board state isn't terribly big, and it either gets removed by, like, a Fatal Push or some removal spell, or it just doesn't pump enough things fast enough. So I'm trying out Elder Gargaroth.
Yeah.
As a one of.
Okay.
It's a draw engine at the top end. It can't be Fatal Pushed. Frenzied Baloth means it can't be Force of Willed or Dazed. So it's really one of those cards you want in these tempo matchups, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it also, like, just like Endurance blocks everything that
blocks flyers. Yeah. And if you have a Scythecat Cub, you can basically outgrow a Murktide without any problems. So, like, Murktide's definitely something you got to watch out for this deck. Like,
well, also, let's say they have a Murktide, right, and they endeavor to attack in with their 8/8 or 7/7 Murktide, right? I think that's okay if you attack and they take 6 and you gain 3 life. Like, you can probably race a Murktide over time.
Yeah.
Just by being like, okay, or put out more. You're gonna have more guys than they are at the end of the day, I think. So this seems like a totally fine choice to just be like, and then you can get to a point where you're like, okay, well, if they're gonna put me below 3, I guess I'll block.
Yeah, and more life gain, more of that, like, combat, on the ground dominance kind of thing, and then the best case scenario against any Murktide deck, really Dimir or is it at this point, is still Barrogoyf. Like, you still want those Barrogoyfs, and it's kind of a weird tension where you also want to endurance their yard away so they can't cast the Murktide in the first place.
Yeah. But you'd rather them not have the Murktide at all than have to block it with a Barrogoyf, or attack into it with a Barrogoyf.
You want both angles of attack. I think you want the endurances to keep them off their especially against Dragon Rage Channeler decks. You want to keep the Dragon Rage Channeler as a 1/1. You want to keep the Murktides off the board, and you want the Barrogoyf to still be big enough, which is kind of why I'm really happy that we're on Chalice, because I feel like our card types in the yard is going to be also. This one of the reasons Springheart Nantucko has been a sort of a mainstay of my decks that have been on Barrogoyf is that
enchantment.
Whenever you mill it over, you get 2 card types for 1 card. So that's
cool.
the deck. I think it's pretty smooth in terms of how you would board with it. There's definitely some cards where I'm like, I'm 1 card short in this matchup based on something I saw that my opponent's doing. But for the most part, I think the number of cards you're boarding in the matchups where you need to board in a bunch of cards, you should have a decent number of cards you can side out.
Cool. Well,
so
yeah, I'll run this through the gauntlet, and you'll see me at the end telling you what I think should change.
Yeah, no worries, man.
All right,
great. Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
This episode of Eternal Durdles is sponsored by CardMill, the first automated scanner and sorter built specifically for trading card game players. With its intentionally compact design, CardMill uses AI-powered recognition to identify each card and sync inventory with real-time pricing, batching up to 300 cards at a time by name, set, color, or type. Collection data is securely stored in the CardMill network, giving players full access to their cards through an easy-to-use web portal. CardMill supports Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Flesh and Blood, Disney Lorcana, Star Wars Unlimited, and many more to come. Created by software engineer and longtime Magic the Gathering player Jonathan Dumanis, CardMill launches on July 22nd on Kickstarter with early bird pricing starting at $350. Backers receive lifetime access to all software updates and new features. Go to cardmill.com to learn more and reserve your path to the future of card sorting. All right, looks like we're into a match, and we won the die roll, so we will be on the play, of course. As always, if we can be on the play, we should be on the play. All right, let's look at our opener here. We can pull a turn 2 Barrogoyf and a turn 3 Ice Till Explorer, which is interesting. We're going to keep this, even though Barrelgoyf isn't going to do anything for us that early. Um, I don't know. Yeah, we're going to keep this and just see what happens. Let's keep. I guess we have to start with a Bayou. They're mulliganing to 6. So depending on what we see from our opponent, maybe what we want to do is hold up the Orcish Bowmasters at land and pass turn. Now, if they wasteland us, okay. Opponent is going for the Oops All Spells play. That's super fun. Love that. Cool. Cool. Such a fun deck to play against. I'm glad this exists on Moto, where people can abuse the incentives that Moto has to allow us to not care about who our opponents are as human beings, not as content creators. Just to care about the other people in general that exist. Really thought-provoking stuff, this deck. For those of you who haven't seen this deck in action, let's show it off. Let's let them see what it is, what happens here. I don't have any hate in my hand, so there's not anything I can do to stop this from occurring. The only thing that can happen would be my opponent gets to, yep, there we go. So they're gonna name Ice Till Explorer. You got it. All right, well, now they're gonna put Thassa's Oracle into play. So cool. Okay. Well, like I said, there's a lot of agency that this deck does not allow for in this game, and it's super fun. I'm so glad Wizards decided that that is a thing that they wanted to keep in the format. I'm really glad my opponent was able to show off their knowledge of the cards that are in the format. It's very interesting stuff to see, that my opponent knows how card interactions work. Very cool. Anyhow, on to the next one here. I guess No Rod's okay because it does stop. Like, No Rod's better than like Elder Gogoroth or Ice Till Explorer or Grist here. I mean, Force Negation is, I guess, Plague Engineer is something, I suppose. Let's get rid of the Plague Engineers. We'll get rid of this. And let's just remove a land. See how our opener goes, right? All right. We won the die roll. We have 2 endurance, so that's at least something that is interesting. Although, it's really not ideal. We're going to keep it. We've got 2 hate pieces in our hand, and we can cast both of them. That's fine. Let's do Wooded Foothills. Pop it for Bird of Paradise, and we will pass turn with 2 endurances live. So we'll see how this goes. Okay. You got it. Did you get to do it again? Okay. Naming endurance. Surgical extraction. No, you didn't get it. You just get to see that I have 2 endurance in my yard. Okay. Another Dark Ritual. Under City Informer. Sure. Why not? I don't even know if I can beat that. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Naming endurance, right? Okay. Why not? All right. They got me. That's ridiculous. Just played through 2 pieces of hate. Wizards of the Coast, what are you doing? This deck is obnoxious. It should not be, even if people aren't playing it, it shouldn't be played. It just it's not Magic. We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh or some shit. It's not a, let me get off my soapbox for this. Okay. Finding the right high-end cards for legacy, vintage, pre-modern, or old school Magic can be challenging. That's where friends 3-for-1 trading come in.
3-for-1 Trading is one of Europe's top Magic the Gathering retailers with an incredible selection of premium singles, sealed product, and even full sets, all available with free, fast, and secure worldwide shipping.
They add fresh inventory every Wednesday with weekly deals and discounts. So whether you're hunting for that elusive piece of power, a legacy staple, or something spicy for your collection, they've got you covered.
First high-end orders over $500 or €500, use the code EDFREE to get free worldwide shipping.
Check them out now at the number 3, the number 4, the number 1.gg/ED. That link takes you right to the shop and helps support the channel.
Huge thanks to 3-for-1 Trading for supporting the Legacy community. Now back to the show.
So hopefully I'll be playing against an opponent with more scruples. We're going to be on the play and keep. Yeah, we'll keep. This gives us a turn to even through land destruction. So that seems great. Seems fine, I guess. It's not really great. You can also just play a Springheart and then Tuco. Okay, there we go. Now on our turn, we will... Let's go ahead and play that. I'm going to crack that for a Bayou. Let's play Barragoyf as a 1/2. My thought here is I'd rather just copy the Barragoyf next turn, and I don't want it to be an 0-1, so like something weird happens and I just have to lose it. But I feel like copying it is probably great. Okay, so we're probably playing against Cephalid Breakfast. Let's do this. I will play. I'm going to cast it with Bestow on this. I'm guessing my opponent probably has a Swords. Force of Will. Okay. You got it. Well, that makes things a little bit bigger, which is kind of great. All right. Now we're going to attack, making it big. And we still have Orcish Bowmaster sitting in the wings to do something hairy. The answer is yes, for sure. I would like to. Another Barragoyf. Leave my opponent thinking that I'm an idiot. The answer is definitely to take the Barragoyf based on what's in my hand. Doorkeeper Thrall. That is, yeah, that is a card. So it looks like we're playing against Dreadnought here. Yeah, there's the Dreadnought. Another Dreadnought. Okay, that's a problem. You go ahead and you attack for 1. You got it. Okay, great. Well, I think that was a little silly of me to drop that. Okay, we're going to play this. Then we're going to do Grist the Hunger Tide. Let's do 1, 2, and tap this for 1. Nope, you got to put the black in there for that. And then this. There we go. I'll pay the life. Sure, we'll get a forest here. Let's drop in an Orcish Bowmaster, right? And then we're going to use... I can sacrifice a creature, destroy a creature, or planeswalker. So you may sacrifice a creature. Sacrifice a creature. Be this. And we'll get rid of that. Okay. You got a Stifle? Okay. That would have been horrendous. And then from there, I believe we just attack in. You want to block? Okay. They do want to block. Sounds good. One of those rare moments where I don't get anything from the... Okay. So we got another Doorkeeper Thrall situation. He's coming after. Yeah, coming after Grist. You got it. Okay. All right. I will untap. Wasteland. Love that. We're going to waste that. Okay. What we got? Yep. Make a guy. Of course. You got it. From there, let's do that. There we are. We've got a Barragoyf in play. Great. And we still have the Flash Orcish Bowmaster, so we're just going to chill. I mean, I could attack with this. That would be funny. I think we do want to attack with this, right? They're not going to block it. Get that extra point in. It might matter. Okay. I think we are navigating this as best we can here as a mid-range deck. Death Touch is very helpful. We're going to keep that Orcish Bowmaster in our hand as insurance. Now we will attack. Coming in. I'm sure they're going to block with the guy there. Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? And I will pass turn. I don't think that there's any surveillance in this deck. I don't recall seeing any. Let me double check that. No, there are no surveillance, so there's no reason for me to play this Catacombs out right now. All right, Sidecat Cub. That's a reason why not to play it, right? We're going to attack, coming in hot. Okay, what do we got? Swords to Plowshares. Sure. Yep. We will put a Sidecat Cub into play. There we go. Might as well double the counters on the Sidecat Cub. Okay. And then we'll pass turn. Now, if the opponent is going to be on the Brainstorm plan, Like, they can't brainstorm because I have the Bowmasters in hand. So they kind of have to just sit behind and worry, which is right where we want them to be. Wasteland, huh? Well, we'll play Wasteland. Get my Scythe Cat Cub just a little bit bigger. Let's, just in case we need to play around days or something, I suppose, right? We'll go to our draw step here, or attack step, I should say. Let's choose the Scythe Cat Cub as a 6/6 attacker with trample. Bringing it home. There we go. All right. Still got that Orcish Bowmaster just chilling in hand. It's right where we like him. All right, we got that one. Perfect. Okay. So, I don't think Norrod does anything against his opponent. Force of Vigor surely does. Love that. I'll bring those in. Plague Engineer, not really holding its own against this deck. Opposition Agent is interesting. Let's think about what we don't really care about. I think Orcish Bowmasters is still fine here. Let's think here. Yeah, Endurance doesn't seem like it's doing much in this particular matchup. And maybe we lose one Bird of Paradise and go from there. Maybe we keep the Bird of Paradise and we lose one Bayou. And we go. See how that works for us. All right, so they're on the play now. This is not a keepable opener. I love Wasteland, but not that much. So we're going to mulligan this. And yeah, we'll keep that. It's not great, but it is something. Well, let's see what we want to get rid of. I think the Elder Golgari is the card that is the most likely to not be cast this game. Okay, we've got a strong start with a Urza Saga and a Lotus, right? All right, so we have thankfully drawn our other land. Let's put Bird of Paradise into play. And I think we want to cast Chalice of the Void next turn. Enticing is that's fine. You can have your Doorkeeper Thrall. Unfortunate for me, I don't think I'm going to be able to come back from that kind of shenanigans. So let's see what we can pull off here. Now I have to put a Barragoyf into play, and it has to stick, right? So here we go. And if they have any way to stop this Barragoyf, I think I'm pretty much dead. So let's just hope and pray. Yeah, there we go. Well, we can at least block their Phyrexian Dreadnought. So there's that. It's not great that they just get to get another Phyrexian Dreadnought. That's a problem for me. Being on the play is just not great. Oh, sorry, them being on the play is not great for me, I should say. Yeah. Okay, they got me. We're going to the next one. I'll allow a fast game like that. I like that. Put a combo together. This deck also has some brains to it. You really have to think about what you're doing against the Dreadnought decks. I'll be on the play. I like this hand. We're gonna keep. I'm just gonna start with a swamp. Next turn, I'm gonna play a Chalice on 1. Jeez, man. Should have played Chalice on 0 here. Okay. I'm gonna do crack this for a Bayou. Yeah, for Bayou. Chalice on 1. What do you got? There's no way you kept Force of Wills in against me. Hopefully, this does it. This could be the thing that seals it for my opponent. And all I have to do is make sure that I'm getting rid of their big guys. There. Now I need to draw a... Okay, untap. Oh, man. All right. Let's think about this. Let's play this for 0, right? I should have played that for 0 to begin with. We'll put a Scythe Cat Cub into play, and I'll pass turn. Sure. There's Doorkeeper Thrall. We could expect that. Next turn, if I I can also Opposition Agent and just be like, okay, deal with this. I'll take. Okay, here we go. Untap. Well, there is that at least. You may exile a green card from your hand and play this if it's not your turn. So on their upkeep, we need to set a stop. Unfortunately, we can't do much more, but we can bestow this on this guy. Okay. Attack in. All right. Yikes. Okay. On their turn, yep, they get to make a construct. I love that for you. I'm going to cast this on this, and we'll pitch that. Got a force? Yep, make another one. Sure. Okay, we got rid of that first problem. So there's that. I would love to draw land here because getting there... Give me a fetch. No, of course not. Jeez. Okay, well, I can attack in with this 3, right? All right, we're going to play another Scythe Cat Cub, and we'll pass turn. This is a race I can win right now. Another Doorkeeper Thrall, you got it. I just need to keep their, like, their fair plan is garbage compared to what I'm doing. God, come on, deck. All right, I have to actually pass. I don't want to attack into their Doorkeeper Thrall and token. I'd rather accrue some amount of value. Yeah, so we're at a sad impasse here where I need a land to make things work. Ponder gets countered. Okay, searching for a land. Okay, this is, nope, for a Phyrexian Dreadnought that gets countered. I don't know what's going on right now. Is that for a Murktide Regent coming up? Land. Come on, deck. This is ridiculous. Come on. This is heart-wrenching. So, obviously my opponent wants to put a... God damn, this is so frustrating. Yeah, I mean, I gotta pass. Oh, man, I need so badly, just need to get a land. So they're gonna get a Murktide Regent here, right? Which is okay. Okay, Oculus, got it. That's fine, I'll take the 2. All right, now, draw land. Come on, deck, you can do this. Come on, deck, No! Why? This is so rough. All right, we're gonna go to the next turn. This is what it is. I'm just sitting here getting crushed by my mana base. It's no one's fault. Meanwhile, my opponent is just yeah, sure, you got a Harbinger of the Seas. That means nothing to me right now. Look at my island. Sure. I can't block any of them. Come on, deck. Come on. I need this so bad. Okay, here we go. Let's do it. They won. That's what can you do when you don't draw land to get your 3 drops into play? I had so much landfall just waiting to happen, and it just would not. That one we could have won. That one we easily could have won. We just didn't draw lands. That is one of the failures of Magic the Gathering. It happens sometimes. No, I would consider that last match a win, assuming that I drew. There were lands in the deck. I think I would have overran my opponent pretty easily had I just been able to quadruple the counters on one of my Cubs. Didn't seem like they had anything that they could do otherwise. All right, this time they're on the play, so maybe I'll get a hand worth keeping. I'm okay with this. I've got a little bit of hate early. I've got some mana dorks. I'm keeping. I'm going to keep and see what happens. And we get the Ice Tiller Cub combo situation here. I'm interested to see where this goes. And if this starts off with a Chalice, okay, no, it's not a Chalice. Okay. Glaring Fleshraker. We're going to see all our least favorite friends of the format today. Oh, okay. Well, let's start by getting rid of that, seeing how things go from there. I think that's the play to make. Slow down the opponent a little bit. Nice. All right, I'll take 2. Sick. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with a Bayou into an Ignoble Hierarch, and we'll pass. Next turn, we can play a Cub. There's another Eldrazi Temple. So you can put in another Glaring Fleshraker. Is that what's going on? Sure. Kozilek's Command. Gonna kill that. Okay, why not? Right? Sure. Ouch. And then you're gonna hit me for 2. Okay, you got it. I think next turn we just toss down 2. Let's play 2. Let's just go Ignoble Hierarch, Birds of Paradise, and then do we just like follow up next turn with like Ice Tiller and just ruin the mana base? Let's hope we can do that. I think that's a great place for us to be if we can pull it off. Fortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get there. It's probably a Reality Smasher. Ugh, not great. Okay. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Trample is a thing that we have to deal with. And not great, unfortunately. Oh god, something else is happening? Can it not? That would be ideal for me. I would love for that to not be the case. Man, I didn't get a chance. I could have caught up here. Okay. Let's go to the next game. They're going to beat us down that way. That's fine. All right, let's start here. Let's think about what we got here. Engineered Plague is actually not the worst against just naming Eldrazi and having them not be able to do stuff. I don't know that No Rod does anything. Endurance doesn't seem to be doing anything. I think we'll get rid of the Endurances, in fact. And maybe the Elder Gargaroth is just like not really doing it for me. So I think that's where we want to be. And I'm going to call it there. I think the Chalices are fine. Like, we're going to get them on. Like, if I get a Chalice, I'm going to throw it on for 0. Okay. Could I mulligan this? Yeah, I'm going to mulligan this. I think we can do better. Okay. I mean, this is something. We'll put back a Bayou. Keep. Bayou goes back. Done. My turn. I'm going to take that stop away. I don't know. I think I included that stop last turn because I thought I wasn't stopping on their upkeep. I obviously am always stopping on their upkeep. I mean, Engineered Plague stopping Eldrazi is at least something, I suppose. Yeah, see, I would have loved to have one on 0. Here we go. Flesh Raker. Yep. You got it. Okay. All right. Well, let's drop this and say Bayou, and we'll put an engineered a Plague Engineer into play, and we'll name Eldrazi. At least they don't get the extra mana if we do that. Now they just have a shitty little 1/1 that makes me take a damage every time they cast a spell. You got to name Eldrazi, right? Here we go. Right? You got it. You make a guy. I take a damage, but they die immediately, and you have yourself a 2/2. You're gonna attack in. That's fine. Come on down. I'll take it. You're taking more damage than I am already off of your lands and stuff. So, and I'm gonna follow up with a Barrogoyf. So I'm gonna be feeling mighty good. Let's bring out the Barrogoyf. There we go. Might as well get my attack in. There we are. And then I will pass turn. Okay, they're taking some damage there. I'm gonna hit this for 3, huh? You hit that for 3, and then this guy gets huge. So, oh no, okay, you're taking that out for 3. I took a point, sure. Well, I'm not dead, so I'm just not in the greatest spot. I should have probably hung back, but what are you gonna do? You're gonna get to attack for double. You got it. 2 Eldrazi. I am at 4. Okay, I'm gonna go to 3. All right. Well, let's try and make this work here. See if we can pull this together. Okay. Well, that's something. Let's put a Scythe Cat Cub into play, right? We're gonna play this. We're gonna put this on this. Right? Then we're gonna sacrifice this to get rid of that. And we're just gonna chill because we need the life. Then we're gonna drop a Nantuko Shade. Don't love that. Is that gonna kill me? Don't kill me. I need to not die. Don't cast another spell. I got it. He got another spell. Damn. Yeah, I'll do it. All right. I think there I should have just tried to Spring Heart my guy. As dumb of me. But I Spring Hearted stupid. I should have Spring Hearted my. Never mind. It wouldn't have worked. I would have died from the damage. I didn't have enough mana to do both those things. I do need to pay a little bit more attention to what the Springheart Nantuko can do, because that would have gotten me close. Since you're enjoying the show, please like and subscribe the video. It helps the channel grow.
Support Eternal Dodos on Patreon so we can create even more content and cover events.
Patreon supporters get an ad-free RSS feed. You can even join our deck donation tier to get your very own episode.
Join the Doodle Maniacs at patreon.com/eternaldoodles. Now back to the show.
All right, here we are on the draw. Hopefully we can see this deck shine a little bit here. Don't love 4 lands. We're going to mulligan this because this isn't a very strong opener. And I think we can see at least some interaction or something. This is a little bit better. There's at least some cards in here that I'm interested to play with. What do you say we put the Orcish Bowmasters on the bottom? We're going to keep Bowmasters goes on the bottom. I want to see the opposition agent have its day. Once upon a time. Ignoble Hierarch. Okay, now we're playing against somebody who's on the same footing as us. Great. Okay. Wow. What even is this card? You may sacrifice a non-token green creature rather than pay its cost. Search your library for 2 basic lands and reveal those tapped. And then also, you get to get 2 basic. Yeah, so I'm going to say yes. Hell yeah, I am. Boom. Boom. Yeah. Love that. Okay, wonder what else is going to happen here. Anything? You got some... Okay, Noble Hierarch. Sad. Another... a Hex Drinker. Okay. All right, well, Hex Drinker is an interesting choice. It doesn't matter too much because we're going to play a Barrogoyf, and that will shut down any nonsense from the Hex Drinker. Okay, so let's look at this. Combat damage can't be prevented. Love that. That is actually hilarious. Okay, so let's go right into Bayou Barrogoyf, right? Let's just begin fair deck versus fair deck, right? It's gonna be very funny when the Hex Drinker attacks and I have a Baloth in play and they don't realize that like it's not gonna work. Well, I guess if I attack into the Hex Drinker, right? It's a lot of protection, bub. You better make it work. Yeah, it's not where you want to be. So I think next turn I play a Springheart Nantuko on this, play a land, copy it, and go from there. He's got to pay a lot of mana. This just creates just a copy. Wow. It's pretty great. What do we got here? Cabal Therapy. Okay. I think Sidecat Cub or Springheart Nantuko are going to be tough for him to deal with. Nethergoyf. Nope. No Nethergoyf here. I'm not a blue deck. I don't know any card that you're going to want to choose. Like, if you sacrifice that Hierarch for a Frenzied Baloth, maybe? We're going to get run over by Barrogoyf copies. Leveling up the Drinker. Okay, leveling him up. Yep, up to a 4/4 now. It's a lot of mana to put into the Hex Drinker. Okay. Hex Drinker is a 5 with protection from instants. I would love if I drew a land here. Just any normal land. Now, you got to get rid of the Frenzied Baloth, but I don't know if they realize that if they do that, the protection's not going to make any difference. Opposition Agent. Okay. Not a card I was really worried about them taking. Surprised they didn't attack in. They could have attacked in. Well, I guess you don't want to attack in because it's just going to die. Okay. So, we're going to cast this with Bestow. Boop, boop. Right? Then we're going to play this. In playing that, we're going to go get a Bayou. And, yep. And I sure will. And I'll attack in. Okay. Here we go. Mill 5 cards. I sure will. Let's get let's just get another Barrogoyf, right? And then pass turn. I don't know if there's anywhere you want to be now that's happened, right? Sure, that's going to be a 6, but like you can't keep up with this race. This is an insane race. You got a 6/6 with protection from everything. I'm not worried about that. Untap. Okay. All right. So now play Yavimaya. Yeah. Why not? Yep. I'm going to play this dude, and then let's attack. Damage can't be prevented. Let's see if they realize that. Yeah, that's not going to be good for you. Don't think they realize that. Yes. Let's get a nice Till Explorer. Love that. Yeah, they figured it out. All right. Let's think about this. We don't care about that. I don't think we care about that either. Yeah, there's nothing in particular that I think that really does it here. So I think I just want to keep the deck as it is. I didn't see anything out of them that like made me think that that's a problem. So we'll keep this. Let's see. I like the... Do I like the Bowmasters here? I don't really like that too much. But Infinite Wastelands sounds fucking sweet. Let's think about this. Let's mulligan. We can do better, right? So I think we should. Okay. let's keep this. We're going to keep it, and we will drop that chalice on the bottom. Okay, they get to go ahead. Underground Thoughtseize. You got it. Frenzied Baloth. You're like, no Frenzied Baloth. Thoughtseize coming in. I think I would probably take the chalice, like, or the Frenzied Baloth. Like, I don't think they care about Orcish Bowmasters at all. Yeah, Frenzied Baloth. That makes sense. All right, on my turn, I draw Grist. Sure. At least Grist and the Bowmasters are kind of a combo, I suppose. Yep, Mortuary. You got it. All right. Well, I will play a chalice on 1 next turn. That's for sure. Assuming that they don't take it out of my hand. They don't. Okay. Ancient Tomb. Interesting. I'm going to go ahead and play that and then get a Bayou. And I'll just play a chalice on 1. I only saw 1 drops out of their hand, so I mean that seems like the thing to do. XX chalice. What? Cancel. Chalice of the Void. XX is currently 0. Done. Finish paying. What? Does it cost extra or something? What's going on here? What is happening? Cradle at 0. All right. Well, stupid. God damn it. I thought that was a Yavimaya for some reason. My brain. Yep. God. What a dumb move. Okay. Let's go. I think we just gotta still do this. Let's do it like this. There we go. Of course. There we go. Then we'll tap this and this. X equals 1. And we'll pass turn. Okay. So if their plan is sure, him to Torak, you got it. Untap. Okay, so we've got something going here, I guess. Every draw is going to be interesting. All right, so let's go with Grist. Grist, right? We're going to plus Grist. Let's not do that. And then we'll attack. There we go. Coming in. It's a living. It's countered. Yep. I've got that going for me at least. What are you delving here? Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Another one. Okay. Untap. Draw. Good God. Okay. Yeah, we'll just keep ticking it up. I don't think I want them to have more mana here, so I'm just going to play a land and pass turn. Yeah, I'll pass. There's Grist. Okay. Well, he's going to sacrifice that. So there we go. What are you killing? Killing my Grist. Okay. Sure. Yes. I'll put 1 more basic into play. I've got 1 left. Okie doke. Okay, USA. Okay. Untap. Good God. All right. Well, let's bestow the Nentuko. I'm going to fetch. Yes. And we'll pop that. Sure. And I will attack. Attack with all creatures. Okay. It's not pretty, but it's happening. Here's something big. Sure. You got a big guy. Okay. Sure, you got him. Untap. Okay. Well, I think I just want to keep attacking here. Trample and menace. Yeah, I don't care. Let's attack. Attack with everyone. Yep. Coming in, hitting you for 4. What do we got going on now? Okay, here we go. Something big. Is it? Yeah, it's just monstrosity. That's fine. Oh God, he cast a second one? That's not okay. Good Lord. End of turn. I'll just cast this. Untap. Draw. Not good. All right. Sad state of affairs here. Okay. I really need something. Anything. It's got the mana. 8 mana. This is like a game of draft right now. 8 mana. For what? What could you be doing for 8 mana? Putting another one of these in play for the Green Suns for 7? Good God. Okay. We're going to concede and go to the next one. All right. Let's think about that might be the correct answer in some respect. And maybe lose a bird and a hierarch and an orc. Maybe another orc and a bird like that. All right. I won the die roll. I'll be on the play. We're gonna mulligan. I think we can keep this. It's not great, but it is something, so we're gonna keep it. Keep it. I don't know. That swamp is really where we want to be. So we're gonna say done. And we'll probably start with a Baloth and pass after we do the Baloth thing. Baloth into Springheart, maybe? Once Upon a Time. They always have it. They always have Once Upon a Time. Okay. Here he is. Here he is. Yep. There's Veteran Explorer. You got it. Okay. Well, we're going to do that thing. Man, let's do that and that. Right? Oh, man. Okay. Tap. We're going to play... I think that might actually be the right play. Let's fetch here for... Let's play that. Rip that out. Keep them as low as we can. And start getting in. Just start attacking. See what we can do. Slow them down if we can. All right, here we go. Noble Hierarch. You got it. Untap. All right, we're going to do some shenanigans here. Step 1, we're going to bestow. Let's bestow. If you know, bestow. We will do that as well. We're happy to lose that mana. Coming in. We're attacking. Look at us go. We're running. No, don't have something. Okay, that's fine. Yes. Another mana. There we go. Down to 10. All right, what do we got here? 5 for what? 6. Alpha. Alpha. You got it. I've been alphaed. You can always out alpha the alpha, though, right? That's the plan. Out alpha the alpha. Beep. Attack. There we go. Now, the hope is that they don't have another alpha. Come on. Ridiculous. Okay, fine. Now, what if I draw an alpha? Another Ignoble Hierarch. You got it. Untap. Draw. Come on. Frenzied Baloth. I'm going to play a land. Another Frenzied Baloth, right? Play. I think we pass and just hope that we can get them, right? The whole plan here is to just chill for a second and watch them squirm. It might not be watch them squirm, but we're going to hope. 7 mana, right? Come on. This is ridiculous. What can you even do at a time like this? They offer you an egg in these trying times. This is ridiculous. Let's put them in. Let's put them in. Green. Nope. Gotta dial it back. We need a green. Green and green. I don't know what we could draw, but I want to hope. I want to hope we can draw something good. Come on. Sad. Sad. Sad, sad, sad. Man, it's just not good enough. Yep, we're just gonna do the saddest possible play here. Man, brutal. Sure, you rough, so brutal. All right, let's keep it going. He's got the mana to do the Deathclaw thing. All right, Ice Till Explorer is not. Come on, not that it even matters, right? Like, whom amongst us, right? Wow. Okay, I got away with one there. Is this? You don't have to do that as a sorcery. Wow, I'm surprised. Yeah, that was a mistake on their end. Right. Here we go. I think one of the things with this deck, like, it doesn't have a big mana payoff, and we really want a big mana payoff. Like, the alphas are nice. Okay. There it is. There's your Traxa game over on that one. Yep. We're going to go ahead and concede. Should have known. Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, going into the last one here. Right. All right, we're back, and Brando's back too. Brando's in the seat with me. You can probably hear him panting. All right, we're going to be on the play. Love that. I think this is fine. We're going to keep. We're just going to try and run it out fast. Right? Let's be the hothead and go Hierarch. Go follow up with the Scythecat Cub into a Catacomb and just make things happen. Ponder. You got it. Ponder is good. Pondered for a... Now I feel like I have to... Right? They're on a Daze deck. I have to play around Daze, right? I do. I have to play around Daze. Scythe Cat Cub, like it would be dumb to just lose it to the days when I can just easily play around it, and then next turn I can play another Scythe Cat Cub and just get maximum value. All right, untap. I will play another Scythe Cat Cub. Right? What do you think? Where are we at right now? Thinking about whether or not you want to get rid of the Scythe Cat Cub. I mean, I would do it now if you have a swords, right? Then I will play a Catacombs. Yep. There we go. There's the swords. And then I will pass turn. Next turn, I will hopefully get to wasteland them out of the game. Wow. They're just on basics, huh? It's a plan. People do be playing basics. Sure. I'm going to bounce that. Okay. That means I get to attack that. Untap. All right. I will play a land. I'm going to cast a Scythe Cat Cub. Why not, right? Then I will attack Teferi for 1. There we go. Killing Teferi, but very much in the toilet as far as the rest of what I can be doing is concerned. Another basic island. Or plains. Yep. So many basics here. Okay. Well, I don't love that. No interaction in this deck is a little tough to deal with. Because in a situation like this, I would just love to have a way to kill my opponent's guy, but I need to hope I top deck a Grist at this point. Great. There's 2 of them. What do we get? Cadre complete. Probably what? Jite would be fine. A Batterskull. Sure. 2 very potent artifacts that I just can't really deal with right now. God. Okay. I think we can call it there on this one. They're going to dominate me here. So let's go on to the next game. I think we just want to be bigger than them, right? We don't need to necessarily, let's see. Don't think we care about endurance. No Rod's interesting, being that they can't activate it, but we still have to find a way to get rid of the token, and we don't really have a way to do that. So I think what we want to be doing here is, I don't think we want to endurance anything. Man, the ice fill tiller also doesn't feel great, but yeah, I think that's what we take out here. And maybe a bird, 2 birds. We just want to be more potent draws and just have stuff, which means we want Frenzied Baloth as a kind of our A plan against this opponent. All right, we're going to be on the play. Let's think. That's a lot of potency, right? Let's keep this and just see where it takes us. Because I actually think that this is as long as they don't get rid of our hierarch, and why would they, right? I think we have the makings of something that's at least somewhat interesting here, right? Okay. Huh. Okay. Let's do this. Chalice on 1. What do you have to say about that? Will that screw you completely? I hope. Got to be an island, right? Gonna brainstorm. Trying to find force of will, I would assume. You got to force that. There's the force. Okay. We'll be playing him to Torak for a little while. That's fine. You get back to basics. That's fine. I don't think back to basics is doing it for them either. All right. Okay. Now, Cadre complete is indestructible, which is a problem. All right. So let's think about this. Untap. Draw. God damn. Come on. Okay. Well, only so much we can do here. I think we just have to jam Bowmasters now, right? And just be like, this is what we're doing. I can at least block Cadre complete for a while. So that's not nothing. But I certainly cannot destroy it. This does not do that to creatures. So there is that. I can, with a little bit of ingenuity here. I'll take the damage. That's fine. 5 is whatever. I truly need to see. All right, there's a land. Right now, let's think here. I've got access to 3 mana. Right, we're gonna put a cast with bestow on this. Seems like a best case scenario for us, and then we just hold. Yeah, we can attack. We can actually, yeah, we can certainly attack. They're not casting any cantrips. We can actually race them now. They're gonna search for an island, right? There's a okay. What do you got? 4 mana for what? Jace the Mind Sculptor? Okay. Luckily, I can sort of just, yeah, there's Jace. Okay. That's fine. 4 mana for Jace the Mind Sculptor. What are you doing, Jace? Zeroing? Bouncing this. Okay, well, we're gonna do that, and let's get a Bayou, I guess. Can't trigger that, but I can put another guy into play, so that's fine, right? Coming in. Of course I'm going to block, right? There. You got it. You've exiled my token. As it should be. Okay, untap. Another Springheart and Entuco. That's interesting. Let's see here. What we need versus what we want. Yes. We're going to attack into Jace twice. Do we attack into Jace here? Yes. We'll attack. Does it matter if we attack both? No, it does not. They've got a block there. Jump in front. Do it. Great. They jumped in front. That's fine. I think that's fine. We're going to just do that. Let's knock that down 1 so they don't get to keep doing it. And yeah, I think that's fine. And we'll pass turn. It's interesting. They've gotta keep messing around with, like, he's got to bounce the thing, which is fine. Sure, I'll block there. That's all right. I'm gonna play another one in a second anyhow. You got it. So they get to exile that. It's fine. Remember, every land for me is like, if I draw land, then I can copy that. Like, you can't do much with the return. Yeah, return that. Okay, got the brainstorm. Yep. Okay, what do we got? Cryptic Coat. You cryptic coat. You cryptic coat, folks. Okay. All right. So All right. So if we play this, let's think about this. Okay. So let's cancel. Let's attack with this guy. Sure. Got in there. Okay. So then we're gonna do that for this. Right. Right there. Yeah. This is rough, as I need to be continually putting on pressure. Now, I need to cast this, targeting that, and fucking sure, I'll target that too. Let's get rid of Scythe Cat Cub. I think doesn't really make any difference at this point. It's not going to matter for the living weapon thing, but target it anyhow, right? Sometimes people quit when they get 2 things targeted. You just never know. Okay. Great. Now it's my opponent's turn. Good God, what else can you possibly do? Sure, that does it. That's game. All right, they attack and kill me. And that's a league. I'm really sorry, Noah, that I wasn't able to pull a win out on this. Although, I will say our second match should have been a win if we'd have just drawn lands. I have to say, this is a challenging deck for me. I don't see the lines like I think that you do. But we also went up against some decks. Obviously, the first deck was, we weren't even playing Magic. But we went up against some decks that just don't care about our reoccurring wasteland situation, or even countering our, we're not playing against blue decks a couple of times, so they didn't really care about our Baloths. So it was a little rough going. But thank you for the deck donation. I appreciate it. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button.
You can also support us on patreon.com/eternaldurdles, which now offers the new deck donation tier.
During July, the deck donation patrons will get a 2-for-1 special where both Phil and I will run your deck through a league.
I'll play literally whatever you want.
So brew your spiciest or stock us up with a stock list.
I'll literally play whatever you want.
Thanks for watching.